NFPA 70-2017 700.12e addresses unit equipment. The specific requirement states the branch circuit feeding the unit equipment shall be the same branch circuit as it serving the normal lighting in the area and connected ahead of any local switches. However, there's an exception: unit equipment shall be permitted to be connected to a branch circuit that supplies only unit equipment and is supplied from an emergency source. The informational note references 700.26 for overcurrent protection requirements for unit equipment. The key question is whether exit signs are considered unit equipment according to the National Electrical Code. To answer this, we must refer to the definition of unit equipment in the NEC. 700.2 defines unit equipment as equipment consisting of an assembly of two or more pieces of equipment that are intended to function together. Considering this definition, the technical understanding is that exit signs are not typically considered unit equipment. An exit sign, even one with an integral battery, is generally considered a single piece of equipment providing a specific function, which is to indicate the exit path. It doesn't necessarily require multiple pieces of equipment to function in its primary role. The requirement in 700.12e aims to ensure that when normal lighting fails, the unit equipment, which is intended to provide emergency lighting, is powered from the same source as the normal lighting. This ensures that the emergency lighting activates promptly when needed. However, an exit sign, particularly one with a battery backup, is designed to remain illuminated regardless of the status of the normal lighting. It functions continuously to provide exit guidance. The exception to 700.12e allows unit equipment to be connected to a dedicated branch circuit supplied from an emergency source. This acknowledges that certain types of emergency lighting systems may require a separate power source to ensure their reliability. However, this exception is generally intended for more complex emergency lighting systems rather than a simple exit sign with an integral battery. Therefore, the interpretation is that an exit sign with an integral battery does not fall under the definition of unit equipment and does not necessarily need to be connected to the same branch circuit as the normal lighting in the area. It can be connected to a separate circuit, provided it meets other applicable requirements of the NEC. This interpretation is based on the understanding that an exit sign is a single piece of equipment providing a continuous function, rather than an assembly of multiple pieces intended to function together as described in the definition of unit equipment. It is important to consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations in a specific jurisdiction. The NEC is subject to interpretation, and local authorities may have specific requirements or interpretations that must be followed. Therefore, while the exit sign doesn't have to be on the lighting circuit, you still must meet the requirements for emergency circuits. A good comparison to make is emergency lighting versus general emergency systems. Unit equipment is considered part of a general emergency system. Consider the requirements for general emergency systems. Firstly, emergency systems are those systems legally required and classed as emergency by authorities having jurisdiction. These systems are intended to automatically supply illumination, power, or both, to designated areas and equipment in the event of failure of the normal supply, or in the event of accident to elements of a system intended to supply, distribute, and control power and illumination essential for safety to human life. Secondly, emergency systems must comply with 700.9d and include, but are not limited to, types of systems detailed in 700.1. Emergency lighting is not usually legally required in buildings, but is usually the choice of building owners for safety. If you want to provide emergency lighting, but are not legally required, then the better section to review is Section 701 covering legally required standby systems. These systems are intended to automatically supply power to specified loads other than those classified as emergency systems when there is failure of the normal supply. Legally required standby systems are those systems required and so classed as legally required standby by authorities having jurisdiction. These are essential, legally required for operation during emergencies. 701.11b5 states, for unit equipment, connection to the line side ahead of the main service disconnect is acceptable. 701.12g discusses unit equipment. Individual unit equipment for required emergency illumination shall consist of a rechargeable battery, a battery charging means, provisions for one or more lamps mounted on the equipment, or shall be permitted to be provided as a complete unit with one or more remote lamps, or shall consist of light fixtures with integral batteries and charging means. The battery shall be suitable for maintaining total lamp load for at least 90 minutes and shall be operated automatically upon failure of the normal lighting supply. Remote lamps shall be wired to the unit equipment by conductors meeting the requirements of the type of wiring used for normal lighting. Unit equipment shall be installed in accordance with 701.12 gone through 5. 1. The unit equipment shall be permanently fixed in location, that is, not portable. 2. The unit equipment shall have all wiring to the unit equipment installed in accordance with the requirements of Chapter 3. 3. The branch circuit feeding the unit equipment shall be the same branch circuit as that serving the normal lighting in the area and connect it ahead of any local switches. Exception number 1. Unit equipment that contains a power cord and plug shall be permitted to be connected to a receptacle on a branch circuit serving the normal lighting in the area. Exception number 2. In a separate and uninterrupted area meeting the definition of a single room, as described in Article 100, unit equipment shall be permitted to be connected to a branch circuit that supplies only the unit equipment. 4. The branch circuit that feeds unit equipment shall be clearly identified at the distribution panel as a circuit for emergency lighting only. 5. The authority having jurisdiction shall be permitted to require testing on a regular schedule. Therefore, if the building owner is choosing to install emergency lighting, 701.12g is the better section to use in the NEC. The intent of these sections is to assure that emergency lighting, including exit signs, is readily available when the normal lighting goes out. If the exit sign is battery operated, then an outage of normal power will still leave the exit sign illuminated. Exit signs with an integral battery are designed to be lit at all times, under normal conditions and during power failures. If the exit sign requires normal power to operate, then the branch circuit feeding the exit sign must be the same branch circuit as that serving the normal lighting in the area and connected ahead of any local switches. The NEC wants to assure that an exit sign will work as intended.